everybody. Merlin Mililli here. That's Merlin, like the wizard. Mililli. Mililli. And welcome to my interview. So, I've never done this before, and because we're in quarantine, I'm interviewing myself. So it's a little awkward, so bear with me. I compiled a list of questions from all of you, either in person or online, and now I'm going to answer them. I'm going to do a 3-part series. I'm going to do basically my past, my present, and my future. But I'm going to do my past, and then I'm going to do my present, and then I'm going to do my albums, which, are my future. So, part 1 of the Mililli Interview. I was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut. P.T. Barnum lived there for a while. He's buried there. Tom Thumb is buried there. A lot of the people from the circus at that time, when P.T. Barnum was just starting out, are buried there in Bridgeport because they lived there for most of the year. And sometimes when they didn't tour, they stayed there for the whole year, so it became known as the circus town. I had a pretty good childhood. We moved out of the circus town when I was 3 and into a house my father built in Shelton, as we say in Shelton, Connecticut. And I went to school there until I was in 5th grade. And then I moved to Cheshire, Connecticut. And I went to public school, and I lived with my dad and my stepmother. We moved because my parents got divorced. And that didn't work out so swell, and I almost flunked out of high school because I stayed in Cheshire until my freshman year in high school. And my freshman year in high school, I moved back to Shelton. Where I finished high school. I graduated from Shelton High School. Shelton High School. And, I went to Catholic school for elementary school in Shelton, St. Lawrence. I've been a deadhead since I was 12. I'm 47 now, so that was, I got turned on to the Dead in the 80s. A lot of people think that I'm, I've been with them since the 60s, but given that I was born in 73, I couldn't be with them in the 60s, not in this incarnation. So, the Grateful Dead have probably been my biggest influence, I'd have to say. But I've had a lot of other influences. I had a lot of early, really cool influences. My grandmother and her piano and her Aretha Franklin records, they had a huge impact on me. And my mom and my dad and my sisters all liked Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks, and I sort of followed Stevie more through the years than everybody else in my family. But no one else in my family liked the Grateful Dead. That was just me. They still don't like the Grateful Dead, really. And it's just me. So it's just my thing. And, but Stevie Nicks has influenced me pretty heavily. Aretha Franklin, Janis Joplin. There's really too many to mention. I listen to so many different kinds of music. I mean, from classical to punk to funk. And then I play all of those kinds of music because I enjoy all of those kinds of music. So, rock, funk, punk, classical, new age, um, tribal. I I'm all over the place. Jazz. Oh, love jazz. Um, Thelonious Monk definitely influenced me on the piano to be creative. Um, I've been playing piano since I was 3. I started playing my grandmother's piano when I was 3 years old. And then my mom bought me one of those little pianos when I was 3. And I beat the crap out of it. And I didn't start playing guitar till I was a teenager. So I went to college for fine art. I did not graduate, but I was trying to get a bachelor's in fine art. I eventually would like a master's in fine art or a doctorate. Like a doctorate just to make people call me doctor. But I did go to college for fine art, and after 2 years, I dropped out and I started working in art galleries and doing light and sound tech for local rock bands in Connecticut. I did lights and sound for Hubinger Street, and I did lights and sound once or twice for Deep Banana Blackout. I used to switch out Hubinger Street's equipment. Well, I'd help, and sometimes have to touch other people's equipment. So I met a lot of bands along the way. Not that I really stayed in touch with too many. I've always loved art. I don't remember a time not loving art. I didn't always want to be an artist, necessarily. I wanted to be a nun when I was in Catholic school. And I scared them. And then they told me that a nun, can't say mass. And I was like, I want to be a nun anymore. So I didn't become a nun. And they were happy to hear that I wasn't going to become a nun. Then I wanted to be a pediatrician for a long time. And then I found out that, babies might die on my watch. And I was not into being that kind of devastated. So I didn't want to do that either. So I became an artist and a shaman. So it's kind of close. And a mom. So I'm kind of all those things all in one little neat package. My shaman's journey didn't start until just recently. I think it was in the fall of 2019. I was walking in the woods here in Mt Shasta, where I live, the spirit of my great-grandfather, who was 100% Apache, Navajo. He was Navajo that went all the way back to when they called the Navajo Apache before the Spanish came. Spanish came and they pointed at the Apache and called them the Navajo. So my great-grandfather went back to when they were Apache and called Apache, but he became a Navajo later. Anyway, the spirit of my great-grandfather out on the path while I was walking last fall just poked me right in the third eye and said, "Your shamanic journey begins now." And he whacked me so hard that it made me, I was taken aback, I stepped back on the trail and I saw stars, but it's been good, and I've been learning a lot. He's been teaching me how to read the snow patterns on the mountain, and it's been cool. I put up a page on Facebook for my shaman work. It's called Walking Bear. So if you ever want to contact me as your shaman, I claim the World Tribe as my tribe, and so you don't have to be of any sort of denomination. You don't have to be Apache. You don't have to be Navajo. You just have to be in need of a shaman. And so, contact me on Facebook, Walking Bear. So, the significance of my hat. People have asked. I used to busk with this hat. I busked my way cross country back and forth twice with this hat. So it's part of me now. The crescent moon is, I got this at a Renaissance fair in Connecticut a long time ago, about 20 years ago. And the Druid high priestesses used to tattoo a crescent moon upon their forehead. And so I decided, rather than a tattoo, being a Druid high priestess for 20 years, I rocked the crescent moon on my hat instead. So then I busked with it cross country twice, back and forth. And then when I finally found a home here in Mt Shasta, I started wearing a white hat. Some people have asked me what the significance is between the white and the black hat. And the only significance really is that you can't really busk with a white hat. You can, but it's not going to come back white. You put a white hat on the ground to collect money in, and it's not coming back white. It's coming back some other color. Gray, probably. Brown, but not white. So I feel that the black is good for throwing on the ground. And when I was a kid, I remember seeing these women in Peru wearing top hats, and I just thought it was just cool to see a woman in a top hat. And I don't know what it is, but I there's something about it. It's empowering. So it's my empowering hat, and it collects money, so that's nice too. Bonus. So I get a lot of questions about my name. I changed my name. I think I only just changed it in 2015, 2016. It's fairly recent to Merlin Mililli, and I chose Merlin because I had been a Druid high priestess for 20 years, and then I had this weird dream. Some people say it may not have been a dream, but as far as I could tell, it was a dream. I had emergency surgery when I first moved here to Shasta. And in my recovery, I had this weird experience where I dreamed, or not, that little dark people that called themselves Atlanteans took me under the mountain, Mt Shasta, and sewed me back together with love and light, put me back in my room. And they told me when they put me back in my room that I was a mother Merlin and that I was a bird. And I didn't even know that a Merlin was a bird. I'd been a druid, so I followed Merlin the wizard, and I knew a lot about that kind of Merlin, but I didn't know it was also a bird. And so then I looked it up upon waking and found that it was in fact a bird. It's a small falcon type bird, and it's a seabird. And after that, I craved only seafood. I only wanted to eat like small shellfish like clams and oysters, and it was really weird. And I smelled like a baby bird. It was really strange. Some woman even commented, "Do you have baby birds at home?" And I was like, "No." But I was like anew. I was Merlin anew. So I took the name Mother Merlin because of that dream. And then Mililli is a family name. It's supposed to be my last name. I believe it was spelt with an E originally, but I thought visually the I's were nice. So I went with the I's, and so it's Mililli, and it's my great-grandmother's name, and it was a matrilineal name in Sicily, and so it was passed from mother to daughter. And when my great-grandmother came here, they told her she couldn't do that. She had to take her husband's name. They moved here from Sicily. I don't know, when my grandparents were like 8 or 9, they came over here, and they'd be in their hundreds now. So it was like early 1900s. And so she took her husband's name, but I didn't want the name to just get lost because it's a matrilineal name, and that's kind of special to me. So I have 2 girls, 2 daughters, so I wanted them to know at least that that's their name, and if they want to rock it, they can rock it too. So, excuse me. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this portion up. So that's about it for my my past, and I've caught up to the present. And the next portion of this will be part 2, obviously, and it'll be more about my current adult life rather than my childhood. So stick with me, and I'll be right back.